Hello friends, it's Terry from Terry Hofford Photography, and today I'm going to be showing you how I edit some photos. So some of you had joined me last night for my Facebook Live watching me be super awkward with our model Katie, and today I'm going to show you how I would edit those photos from start to finish. But before I do that, I want to preface a few things. So the first thing is this is just how I do it. It's not the right way, it's not the wrong way, it's just what works for me. Number two is I'm going to show you from both cameras, the Canon and the Fuji that I shot with, so you can see that, you know what, it doesn't make a difference what equipment you shoot with as long as you're shooting. And I think that's about it. So we're going to get started here. I'll let you know the equipment that I'm using or the programs I'm using. So we start in Lightroom, and I use Lightroom CC. What you heard there was me plugging in my tablet. I use a Wacom tablet for the majority of my editing. And then I use Portraiture for smoothing the skin, and then zip on over to Photoshop for the added pizzazz, if you will. So all of these you can see have kind of presets already added to them. And if you look over here at my presets, I've got a lot. I am a preset hoarder. Now, the thing about presets is that not all of them will work for everybody. And that's the thing is I have a ton, but I literally use the same ones all the time. As much as the extra ones that I have, all these other VSCO ones I use, but just for fun stuff or family shoots or just my own creative projects. For client work, I like it to be consistent, so I will standardly use LXC4, which you can get through Tribe Archipelago, I believe, online, or the Do More, Wear Less, which I'll have a link below for you. The Do More, Wear Less is probably the majority that I use for the base for most of my photos. So just to give you an idea of the difference there. So I'll show you why I use those ones as opposed to like the VSCO ones, and you'll see the difference here. So I'm gonna just bring up this first photo here, and I'm gonna reset everything. I've already done work on it, but we're gonna reset it so you can see the raw file. So this is what it looked like when it came off the camera right into here, and this is the one that was shot with the Fuji. Not, I believe, yeah, this was shot with the Fuji, not the Canon. So you can see the tones are a bit pinker, I think, and a bit more muted than what my Canon normally shoots, which is totally fine. Now, for this one, I'm going to show you the preset that I do use and why. So standardly, I have like these Do More Wear Less ones, which are nice, but they just make her skin like still pinker. I have one that goes a bit more yellow, but then it looks a bit like jaundicey, and I don't really like that, though it's not terrible. The one that I will probably end up using though is the LXC04. It adds a bit of grit to it. And this is it, just like the one click, but if I just up my exposure to where I want it, then I like it. And now the reason why I like the LXC for this particular is because of these sheets. I also will bring down the blues a bit more to make them like super, okay, not that much, he looks like, there we go. To kind of give it a good vibe like that. Just my feels. I like it. I'll probably bring down the contrast too a little bit. Yeah, get it to about there. But anyways, I like the LXC because it brings out the turquoise or the teal color a lot in her tattoo and her arm and all that good stuff. If you're like, oh, it's too muted, you can always play with the saturation. Like, that's what I like about presets. They come one way, but you ultimately have to tweak them your own way anyways to get them to where you like them. So that's why stick with what you know. But I'll show you. So this is how I would edit it, or like I said, using the Do More Wear Less ones. Like those are nice too. They're just softer. If I was to use my VSCO ones that I purchased like long time ago, this is basically what would happen. Like super contrast. You have to really tweak it to get it to where you want it. And like it can be fun, but I find for the type of work that I create, it's a bit too dramatic, you know. Sometimes I'll use it to recreate film effects, like the 800 Warm I like because it's got the nice thick grain, the nice yellow tones, the teals. Like it's just a vintage effect. But that's only for what, and that's not for client work. Like I rarely would use that for client work. I would do that more just for my own personal projects. That one's not terrible. The colors look okay, but again, a little too contrast and like magazine-y for my like. Yeah. Anyways, that just gives you an idea. Do I have any other? Oh, here I've got some Ryan Longnecker ones. His are okay, but I like, again, his, that's very like contrast for me. I like his more so for, what am I trying to say here? That's not terrible. For like nature, like when I'm outside in nature shots. Same thing with the VSEO. Great for nature shots. But there's so many like that I have. Like this is terrible. Why do I have so many? I don't know. They're just fun to play with and try things out, but it can get very expensive. If I could resell these, I totally would. And make some money for my booty buzz. Let's see, some other ones. These are some old ones when I used to be in like that super film phase, like Red Leaf was the jam for me, like that muted look. I don't shoot muted anymore on purpose, anyways. Expired film, like these are fun vibes for a particular aesthetic. And like while that looks good, that's not really what I want my clients to think of is my work. So we're going to go back up to what I do. And you know what, I'll show you, the one I showed you with the Do More Wear Less was like my tweaked version. I just made a preset from it. This would be their standard studio one that I use all the time. So we're going to use that today, actually. See, I like it because the skin tones remain skin tony, not orange, not like purple, not like nothing. It's really good. The only thing is it doesn't bring out the blue here, but you can do that by playing with your different hue, saturation, and luminance tabs down here. As you can see, the color changes of the blues. So I can do it myself. I don't know. I'm lazy, guys. I'm lazy. Saturation, bring up the reds if we wanted to really make those lips pop. Magentas would probably change a bit. I don't know. Oh, sorry, that was purple. I was changing to wonder nothing was moving. But yeah, so you can see how that looks compared to how it was the first. So that's going to be one of the ones we're going to edit in Photoshop. So let's zip that over. Boop. So we're going to stick that into a folder, KD2. We're going to use a unique name because I tried this once before and failed hard. So I'm not going to do it again. All right, and I do want to show you a close-up maybe here. All right, we'll use this one as an example. So the other thing with presets is you have to watch. Now, everyone has a different preference for things like texture or sharpness, clarity, softness, whatever. I find that the LXC4, that's what I believe I threw onto this one, just for an example, is very high contrast and very sharp, and the clarity like seems to be ridiculous, and it's not, it's zero. But it seems like, I don't know, all the texture just comes out, which has its place. But most women don't like to see a lot of texture on their face, even though I personally think that they should, but they won't buy it if they see it. So, you know, business. So we're gonna apply the Do More Wear Less here. This is my version that normally works. I don't actually like the way that looks, but so again, it's a bit more softer. You can see that the details a bit more smoothed away. And again, we're going to go play with our levels down here, bring up the blues in the background, bring up the reds. Oh, there, we can make it look like your eyes bleeding. Like, don't do that. How about gray? No, just kidding. But we will bring it up a bit to about there. That lip color, yes. And then we'll zip that one over too, because it'll be easier to show frequency separation with that. Cool? Cool. I'll just show you a few of the other ones that we did before. I'm not going to edit these ones for you guys, but you can see like once my phone died yesterday, we did some more upstairs when I shot through a chandelier, or not a chandelier, sorry, a candle holder thing. So it kind of made the soft effect with the sun coming in, because finally the sun came in. And then these ones we shot with the ring light. So sorry, don't look at that. There's a nipple. Gasp. But we shot these ones with the ring light to get a really like super, I don't know, I think it's a fun effect. People, everyone looks good in a ring light, so you can never go wrong with some portraits. Usually for clients, I will have them pop in front of there and do like photo booth style, where they have to change up their position on every click of my camera. It gets them loosened up, it gets them feeling silly and fun and really into it. Put on some pop and music, and that usually will be a good way to loosen them up. You can get your ring light. I got mine at Amazon for like 180 bucks, just ridiculously cheap considering. All right, we'll come back to this because I had that up from when I did the last thing that I tried recording incorrectly. So let's try it again. So we're going to bring up this one, Eon, this guy. Perfect. All right, so for this one, to be honest, there's not a lot of work that I would do to it. It looks pretty good. Her skin looks great. The lighting is good. I really could send it off like this and be happy. But one thing that I will process over top of it is what's called inverted high pass. It just smooths things out. I think it's similar to what portraiture does, to be honest. Oh, make sure you have the right brush on when you're painting on a mask to actually make a difference. So what inverted high pass does, you can see it just smooths it out. It's like Gaussian blur, but like without the terribleness, because it puts it on a different layer. So it's kind of good. So we're gonna bring that down. I bring the opacity on that down, just so you can see the difference. See, it's sharp texture, then it's smooth. Boop, boop, easy peasy. So you can find, like, just all I did was Google inverted high pass, what do you call it? Inverted high pass tutorial, and then there was instructions on how to make your own action. So I did that. Yep. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. I really don't need to do too much more. I could sharpen it a little bit if I want, but I don't know. I don't even think that's necessary. I like it. And maybe if you look hard enough, Nicole will be in the background. No, she's not. Just the couch. So if you don't like I can see my couch in there a little bit, just depending on the light in your studio. You can bring the shadows down and then like paint around her, so that way she's still a bit brighter than the background, but I don't know. I don't really have time to do as much of that today. So we'll leave it there. Cool? Awesome. So that is for that one. So now on the next one is going to be the face shot. And this is important because we do a lot of portraits and things like that. So I think this will be the most helpful for people. Oh, I don't even think I pulled up the right one. Give me a second. Boop, boop, ba-doo. Here it is. So here we go. This one will match the other one a bit more. So as you can see, there's some texture in the skin here. And you know what? Everybody's stand on this is their own stance. I'm not going to judge anybody either way. If you want to completely take it out and smooth their skin out, that's cool. If you want to leave it in because you believe that people need to see those parts of themselves, that's okay too. I fall in the middle. As much as I am body positive, body image, and all that good stuff, for a lot of the clients, this is their first time getting in front of a camera, nevertheless getting naked in front of us. So they're already vulnerable. If they are not at a place in their body image journey where they can see past these flaws, it's going to be difficult for them. So I will remove them a little bit, like lightly, but mostly leave them in and make them see bits of them. So things like scars I'll leave in, but pimples we take out, little skin indents, things like that. Just to smooth out the things. So if you don't know, frequency separation is a very popular term that gets thrown around a lot. I just purchased the action straight from Julie Kuzmenko, who's a beauty. So back when I used to do fashion photography, who does like beauty and fashion and good stuff like that. I know Jen Sweden has one. You can get one off her website, which a lot of people really like. What it does is it separates your image into two layers, one that is colors essentially, and then one that is texture, so you don't lose it. Don't lose the texture or the color when you go to change, go to edit it. Now, when I use frequency separation, I tend to stay on the color one the most, and I use the healing patch tool. I guess it's not a healing patch tool, it's a patch tool. And so I just drag the area that I want to fix into an area that I want it to look like. Easy peasy, relatively. Sometimes, as in most computer type things, you will get bugs where it's like, oh, you want to put an eye over here? And you're like, nah. So just keep that in mind, but I'm not going to fully do this whole thing. I just want you to see a little bit how it can change. So yeah, so you can take out all the pieces if you want, be as detailed as you want. I probably don't spend more than 15 minutes on an image, to be honest, but I've also streamlined my processes to be able to do it in less time. Because I consider myself to be a high volume photographer where I shoot a lot, and I don't charge as much as boutique photography, because I'd rather see as many women as I possibly can. So that's just my way of doing things. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just the way I do them. So yeah, so we're just gonna zip around here. Do, do, do. So literally this is all I do for the majority of, editing. Faces are usually not too crazy. Like the majority of clients have really like relatively good skin. Sometimes you'll just have a few blemishes, a few creases. I know me, for example, I have a constant crease like right here all the time, and because I smile a lot, I get jowl lines when I'm not smiling. So when I try to look sexy, I just look like a bulldog. Which, maybe that's its own kind of look. I don't know. Face lines, yeah, so it's up to you. If you're like, okay, like I did too much, like I don't know who she is anymore, simply you can just bring down the opacity of this and it brings those textures back. So it's not the end of the world. Usually I'll do it fully and then leave it at about like 75%, something like that. So that way you still see them, but you still keep the texture, but they're minimal and you're not really looking at that. Cool. So now I would run that inverted high pass again that I talked about just to smooth everything out. And this is where you'll really see it make a difference on the skin. Da, 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 da. So at 100%, you can see how it would be terrible to keep it that way. It brings in all the lines. Like just don't, yeah, if you use this, do not keep it here at 100%, please, for the love of God. I know I said there's no right or wrong way to do things, but please don't make your client look like that for their final thing. So usually I'll paint all over all the skin that's in the photo just to even it out a little bit. I find this helps too to bring in like dark to light and all that good stuff. But like I said, don't leave it there. I bring it down to like less than 50%. Portraiture, I think, does this literally exactly the same. It does add a little texture though to the skin, so you can see that. But you can change that in your action itself. So I'll just bring it up a little bit. Nothing crazy, just enough to give it a little softer appeal. Cool. So we're gonna do that. Now, one of the actions that I frequently use on all my work, like again, same thing with presets, I have a lot of actions. The actions that I always use are going to be frequency separation and inverted high pass. Other than that, I may sometimes use Lara Jade's Fashion Actions Emerald. That's my favorite one. It probably will look terrible here. Oh, it doesn't look terrible, I guess. But it basically makes everything like green and pale, which if you looked at my work, you'll see that everything's got kind of a green hue to it. I just like the way it works, but if I don't like the way the color cast, like it actually works with this because she's got red lips, but if I don't like the way the color cast works, but I like the way it contrasts and all that good stuff, I would just simply go to color balance and like change up the colors a little bit. Like it's not rocket science. You just kind of do. Actually, it's kind of cool and vampy. I like that. Let's do that. But yeah, that is how I would edit that, I guess. Like nothing crazy. Just doing. Yeah. So I will just save that one. You can sharpen the eyes, add a bit more light into the eyes if that's your thing. More often than not, I actually don't get clients to look at the camera. This was like a different situation because we were videoing. But you can like brighten the eyes with the Dodge brush, bring them to life a little, add some sharpening. If you have a sharpening tool, feel free to use that. I always bring it down. I just use action that I have from like forever ago that I use on here. So you do that, whatever. Like, yeah, that's just how I do it. So that's that one. Let's see if there's any other. So there's that. We already talked about that one. So this one I can show you just how because I would edit it totally different. And the reason for that is because it is so soft. Like the whole vibe is more ethereal and like is she even in focus? I don't know. Because I was shooting through the chandelier at the time. So I would just again even out kind of like the skin tone that I noticed. Like clients probably wouldn't even notice these things, guys. That's the thing. But I see it because I'm trained to see it, right? Or like we're trained to see these things, which is kind of sad because everyone's perfect the way they are, if you ask me. But anyway, so I would do that and then zip on out, and then I would run my inverted high pass, and then yeah, that's literally it after we bring this down a smidgen. Perfect. So lots of people will probably be like, "Oh, I don't like that's covering your eye," or that's and whatever. I don't. Sometimes when you create things, you just gotta create them for the sole purpose of creating. You don't have to worry about it being right or wrong or whatever. And I think that's when the best magic happens. As most of us know, when we're not trying to be perfect. At least that's what I find. What I did there was I just content awared out the little thing, little clippy do. So it just because I noticed it apparently. And then we'll even it out a little bit. I'm terrible with landscapes, like making sure lines, but also my studio is not level. So while the client might look level, the wall won't be, or the picture won't be, whatever. So it's hard to get everybody on the same plane, to be honest. So let's play around with some other things that I have here, some other actions. Again, these are from the Lara Jade ones. That one's not terrible. That one looks okay, but I like the warm bit that came through with the sun. So we'll keep that there. If you don't want to use actions, you want to kind of play around with your own thing, you'd use color balance to like change things up. Like that looks pretty to me. Oh, I do like that. See? So sometimes your own shit is better than anything else. But you just gotta play. Like I can't stress play enough to photographers or artists in general. Don't go into it with a big expectation that it has to be 100% a certain way, because that's not going to help you. I think if you just go in and play around, you'll stumble upon things that work magically for you. So I'm just going to sharpen it a little bit because it is quite soft, and call her a day. That's good enough for me. So yeah, that's it. So I'm going to leave it there for you guys. And if you have any questions, wait for it. You can email me at thpstudios@gmail.com. Hit me up on Facebook at Terry Hofford Photography, or shoot me a message on Instagram at Terry Hofford, TerryHofford, because everyone spells it wrong. Cool. And with that, I shall bid you adieu. Good night.